You've been casting spells since you learned to speak, not with candles, not with potions, but with words. You whispered them into mirrors, shouted them in traffic, mumbled them half asleep, and every time, reality listened. They told you words are just sounds, but in every ancient culture, from Sumerian to Sanskrit, Hebrew to Egyptian, words were sacred. Names had power, and speaking wasn't just communication, it was creation. You say, "I'm tired. I can't. I'm always broke. I'm sick of this." You don't mean to curse yourself, but you do, every single day. Not because you're evil, because you were taught to speak blindly, like everyone else. But here's what they don't want you to know. Your subconscious is always listening, and it doesn't understand sarcasm or self-deprecating jokes. It takes every word you speak as a command. You've been spelling your life, literally. And now that you're hearing this, you can never unhear it. You can't go back, because the spell has already started to break. In the temples of old, you didn't just speak. You earned your right to speak. Apprentices remained silent for years, watching, breathing, learning the vibration of things before they were ever allowed to speak a single sacred word, because the elders knew, once spoken, a word could not be taken back. It didn't just echo in the air, it embedded in reality. In Egypt, words were tied to the gods. Thoth, the deity of wisdom, didn't just write magic. He spoke worlds into being. In Hebrew mysticism, the name of God was too powerful to say aloud, not out of fear, but out of reverence, because they believed that certain syllables, spoken with the right breath and intention, could bend the fabric of reality. In early Vedic teachings, the universe was said to have emerged from a primordial sound. Aum, one sound, one vibration, and all of existence unfolded. The ancients didn't fear words because they were superstitious. They feared them because they understood them. And now, here we are, casually cursing our own lives with throwaway phrases. I'm stuck. I'll never change. It's too late. And the spell continues. Unless you start remembering what they tried to make you forget. Your mouth is a wand. Your voice is a tool. And your words are spells. You don't need to believe in magic for it to work on you. Because magic is not about belief. It's about mechanism. Your voice is vibration. Vibration is frequency. And frequency programs matter. Your body is listening. Your cells are listening. And your subconscious never stops listening. Every time you say something, especially with emotion, you embed a neural pathway. It's not metaphor, it's neuroscience. Say something often enough, and the brain wires it in. Say it with conviction, and the body believes it. That's why affirmations can heal or hurt. When you tell yourself, I can't, your nervous system constricts. When you say, I'm lost, your energy field dims. When you say, I'm nothing, your biology responds as if it's true. But here's the secret. Your voice can undo the spell. If you choose new words, you create new codes. If you speak with presence, you activate power. That's why mantras work. That's why chanting shifts states. That's why monks and mystics spend decades just learning how to speak again, not because they forgot language, but because they wanted to remember truth. And the truth is this: your mouth is not just for speaking, it's for shaping reality. Not all words are created equal. Some slip past the mind like mist, others cut like a blade, shaping your identity without you even realizing it. There are 3 types of words that hold the greatest power. 1. I am statements. These are not just descriptions, they are declarations. I am tired. I am broken. I am not enough. Every time you say I am, you assign an identity, and identity becomes destiny. The subconscious doesn't argue, it obeys. 2. Repetition-based spells. The more you say something, the deeper it goes. Even simple phrases like, nothing ever works out. I always mess things up. These seem harmless, but when repeated daily, they become engraved in your nervous system. The spell isn't cast once, it's cast again and again and again until you forget you even said it. 3. Inherited phrases. Words passed down like family heirlooms. My family's always been poor. We don't do emotions. People like us don't get far. These are ancestral spells, not because your ancestors were evil, but because they were conditioned to. And so the spell moves through generations until someone, you, finally hears it and breaks it. You could say all the right things and still cast the wrong spell, because the magic isn't just in the word, it's in the frequency behind it. That's why 2 people can say, I love you, and one feels like truth, the other like manipulation. Your voice carries more than meaning. It carries energy, tone, breath, pace, emotion. These shape how your subconscious receives the message. You might say, I am powerful, but if it's whispered with doubt, hesitation, fear, your body won't believe you. But say it again, from the gut, from your spine, from the silence beneath the words, and now the spell lands. Monks knew this. That's why they chanted in low tones, to resonate with their body, to let the sound reprogram from the inside out. Mystics learned to hold their breath before speaking a sacred truth, because the space between breath and voice is where intention lives. So remember, words are the vessel, but your frequency is the current. And if they don't match, the magic fails. You think the spell is in what you say, but often it's in what you don't. Every thought you loop, every phrase you mutter silently to yourself, every mental script you run on autopilot, those are the real spells. You don't need to speak to cast, you just need to believe. And beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you've repeated long enough to forget they were optional. You think, I'm not good enough. You don't say it aloud, but it echoes in the background like elevator music, always playing, always shaping. And your subconscious, it doesn't care that it's just a thought. To the subconscious, all repeated input is truth. This is why you can smile, say all the right affirmations, do the rituals, the vision boards, the mantras. But if your internal voice says, this is stupid, or this won't work, then that's the spell that lands. Because your first spellcaster is your inner voice. And unless you change that voice, unless you notice it, reclaim it, rewrite it, you'll always live in someone else's magic, or worse, in your own unconscious curse. Language didn't evolve randomly. It was designed to describe things, to label, to separate. But the moment you name something, you place it in a box. You reduce its infinity into syllables. You call yourself a failure. And suddenly, all the nuance, all the complexity, all the becoming shrinks into that one word. You call something impossible, and your mind stops searching. You call someone enemy, and the heart closes before curiosity can speak. Language can free, but it can also trap. That's why ancient mystics spoke less and listened more. They understood. Truth doesn't live in words. It lives before words, in silence, in symbols, in feelings you can't translate. This is why mantras aren't always about meaning. It's the vibration behind them, the intent embedded in the sound. The deepest spells are not sentences. They're states of being. And when you finally go beyond language, When you return to the primal knowing that lives in image, breath, and stillness, you begin to remember who you were before words told you who to be. You've seen the damage of unconscious words. You've felt the weight of silent curses. Now, you reclaim the wand. Speaking like a spellcaster doesn't mean you talk fancy. It means you speak deliberately. Here's how the real ones do it. 1. They pause before speaking, because silence is not empty. It's where intention forms. The pause is the place where words gain power or lose it. 2. They feel what they say. Words with no feeling are just noise. But when you speak from the gut, when your emotion rides the sound, reality bends. Say, "I am healing," and feel it in your bones. Your body starts to respond, not because it's magic, but because it's alignment. 3. They speak as if it's already done. Real spellcasters don't beg. They declare, not, "I hope I'll be free," but, "I am no longer bound." Not, "I wish I had clarity," but, "Clarity is rising now." The words aren't hopes, they're realities arriving. And finally, 4. They say less, but mean more. Because when every word is chosen, every word carries weight. They don't flood the space, they shape it. So when you speak again, don't just talk, spell, breathe, transmute. Because now, you know what you're doing. This entire time, you weren't just watching a video, you were unbinding yourself, unbinding from words that never belonged to you, from labels that others gave you, from spells you whispered in the dark, thinking they were harmless. But now you know, every thought, every word, every sentence is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, and you're the artist. They programmed you to speak like a victim, to echo fear, to chant doubt. But you remembered. You remembered that words aren't just tools, they're seeds. What you plant today, you will live tomorrow. So speak with reverence, speak with clarity, speak with fire. Let your words heal, build, awaken, not just others, but you. Because the final spell, the most powerful one, is not something I can say for you. It's the one you say when no one else is listening. Say it now, not with fear, but with truth. I am the one who speaks reality into form, and so it is. Oh, it